After a crushing 10-year silence, one of America's most brutal and beloved cycling races is about to roar back to life. And it's sparking heated debates about whether modern cycling can still handle old-school grit. The Philadelphia Cycling Classic is officially making its triumphant comeback on August 30th, 2026, bringing with it the legendary Manayunk Wall that has humbled countless professional cyclists over the decades. For those unfamiliar with this cycling battleground, imagine a 17% gradient climb. That's steep enough to make your legs scream and your lungs burn, even if you're watching from the sidelines. But here's where it gets controversial. Can today's cycling scene recreate the raw, unfiltered atmosphere that made this race legendary? Let's rewind to understand what we're really talking about. When the Philadelphia Cycling Classic first launched back in 1985, it wasn't just another race on the calendar. It became the heartbeat of American cycling culture. The 14.4-kilometer circuit through Philadelphia's streets created something magical. A perfect storm of athletic brutality and crowd energy that few sporting events can match. The star of the show has always been Levering Street, better known as the Manayunk Wall. This isn't your typical challenging climb. We're talking about ramps that hit 17% grade, the kind of incline that separates the wheat from the chaff in the most unforgiving way possible. For context, most people struggle to walk up a 17% grade, let alone race up it on a bicycle while battling dozens of other elite athletes. And this is the part most people miss. The crowds weren't just spectators, they were participants. The sound of cowbells ringing and fans cheering created an almost festival-like atmosphere that could be heard echoing through the entire neighborhood. It was cycling's version of a block party, where world-class athletes and passionate fans created something uniquely American. The race's resume reads like a who's who of cycling history. Eric Heiden, the legendary speed skater turned cyclist, conquered these streets. A young Lance Armstrong, before all the controversy that would later define his career, also claimed victory here. For 3 solid decades, the Philadelphia Cycling Classic served as both a proving ground for emerging talent and a showcase for established stars. But then came the harsh reality of modern sports economics. In 2016, after 31 years of continuous racing, the event came to an abrupt halt. The culprit? The age-old problem that kills many grassroots sporting events. Sponsorship dried up. Without financial backing, even the most passionate organizers couldn't keep the wheels turning. Now, here's where things get interesting and potentially controversial. A new organizing group called Race Street Partners has stepped up to resurrect this cycling institution. Leading the charge is former Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter, working alongside Eric Robbins and Carlos Rogers. They've secured AmeriGas as the title sponsor, providing the financial foundation that was missing a decade ago. What makes this comeback particularly significant is the commitment to featuring both men's and women's professional fields. This reflects the modern cycling landscape's growing emphasis on gender equality in professional racing. A stark contrast to the male-dominated cycling world of the 1980s and 1990s. But here's the question that's dividing cycling enthusiasts. After a 10-year hiatus, can the Philadelphia Cycling Classic recapture its original magic? Or will it feel like a nostalgic imitation of its former self? The cycling world has changed dramatically since 2016. Social media has transformed how fans engage with sports. Safety protocols have evolved, and the professional cycling circuit has shifted in ways that might make it challenging to recreate that raw, authentic atmosphere. Some cycling purists argue that the sport has become too sanitized, too corporate, and that events like the original Philadelphia Classic represented a grittier, more authentic era that simply can't be replicated. Others counter that modern safety standards, better organization, and more inclusive participation will actually make the 2026 version better than anything we've seen before. There's also the broader question of whether American cycling culture can still support events like this. The cycling landscape in the United States has evolved significantly over the past decade, with gravel racing and recreational cycling seeing massive growth, while traditional road racing has struggled to maintain mainstream appeal. So here's what I want to know. Do you think the Philadelphia Cycling Classic can truly return to its former glory? Or are we setting ourselves up for disappointment by trying to resurrect something that belonged to a different era? Are you excited about the prospect of seeing elite cyclists tackle the Manayunk Wall again? Or do you worry that modern cycling has lost the raw edge that made events like this special? Share your thoughts. Are you team bring back the grit, or team cycling has evolved beyond this? The cycling community needs to hear from both sides of this debate.